Yes. So, okay. I'm Tanner. I am an empath. I'm also a green witch. I have been interested in paranormal, witchy type of stuff for...
Occultic?
Yes, occultic type of stuff for pretty much ever since I was like 13, 14. But yes, this is my box. I have some protective symbols on it. And then inside,
Logan, go.
I have...
Oh, how cute. Logan, we're in the audio.
Sit down. Sit down. You're good. I have my...
Is that a quill?
No, it is a cleansing feather I use for cleansing.
Yes, smudging. It's a smudge feather, yeah.
I got it when I lived back in Florida. It is actually a flamingo feather.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Cute.
I have that one, and then I have a couple peacock feathers, because my old next door neighbor used to have 3. One of them was part albino.
How do you make part albino?
It had the colors like the males do, which are like the blue, green, browns. But half of it, when it would fan out, was all white.
That's cute. If I was a peacock, I'd be like, that's the man for me. I like
but
you.
He had
You're
like
different.
he had 2 normal males, and then he had like 2 females. I believe from what I've heard, he would breed them and help take care of them for a zoo that we lived by. That wasn't too far. But this is also my pendulum and my yes, no, maybe so board. Because I just recently got this board. It says yes, no, perhaps.
I love that.
I used to just use
Is that wood?
Mm-hmm. I used to just use my hand. I still do. And then this is my pendulum that we can use if you want to.
I have a pendulum I made, and I don't know where it is. I think it's over there. I'll grab it later. Wait, what is that?
This, I actually do not know. I got him from Witch Lab. So, I've been trying to figure out, because sadly they didn't have any of them labeled. So, I don't know if it is like a peridot or if it's a...
Let me get mine. I think mine is amethyst and crystal, because they said that you needed... Or no, I'm sorry. Amethyst and quartz. Quartz for cleansing, and then amethyst to tie myself to it. Because that's my birthstone.
Oh, cute.
I know I have it somewhere in my junk drawers. I didn't find my thing, but I found some stuff that you might like, that you may has. Ooh. Sorry, everybody.
Ooh, I have too many. It's a problem.
What is that? Is that a painted marble? What is that?
I don't think it's it might be a marble.
What is that?
I don't...
That's
no, it's not a marble.
That's not acrylic. I don't know, it looks like paint chipping.
I don't know. I've never seen
What
something like that.
It should be like a moldy grape.
It's turned to stone.
I
have one of those. I have too many amethysts.
I think this is a tiger's eye and this is amber. I didn't know I had so much amethyst. This looks like my painting.
That's really pretty.
Does it look like my painting?
Yeah.
Oh, I have so much amethyst. Emeralds.
I tend to find myself gravitating towards amethyst a lot too. That or just phantom quartz. And then I'll
That's the cloudy one?
Yeah, that's the cloudy one. And I'll come home and I'd be like, damn, there's a lot.
Then there's onyx, and then what's it called? This is either graphite or hematite. I can't tell.
I think it might be graphite.
Yeah, hematite's usually shinier, right?
Yeah, because I have a couple of those at home.
Oh, this is cute.
Look, a little baby.
Sorry, we're going through your box.
Oh, no, you're totally fine.
I was trying to look for mine because I was really proud of it when I made it, and it's like beautiful.
And then I obviously have Palo Santo wood
Yep.
for us. And then this little bag. So there's a couple things in here. So we'll start with this guy first. So this is red brick dust. From my understanding, red brick dust is either a brick that was blessed or a brick from a holy ground. So a church or something like that that was ground up. It works let me rephrase that. It works similar to a salt circle. So a salt circle, you cannot have it broken in any way, shape, or form because negative things can enter. This can be broken, so I put it in any doorways that people enter and exit through, and any windows that get open during like spring and summertime. Because there are a few in my house. And that's so good
because I didn't know about that, because I know that making salt circles outside is so bad for the environment. It takes like thousands of years for like the ground to not become so like acidic from the amount of salt, and it like really wreaks havoc. So I like that.
Yes. So I got this guy from, I believe you can get red brick dust from Blessed Bee. If you know.
I saw that, and I didn't know where it was.
It's actually right up the street from my house going into Grove City. It's just probably like 2 minutes going into it. We'll have to go one day.
Oh, yeah. There was one place I went to, and it was amazing. What was it called? The Magic Druid on High Street.
I've heard it. I think I might have been there once.
Okay, there's like this kooky lady that works there that I absolutely love.
Is it in a white building?
No, it's like, you would miss it. It's like a whole row of like shops in like a little village, and it's like, it's just like a little sliver inside like this brick and mortar, like it's like one building that goes a mile and then like little doors.
Cute. Because I know closer to where I live there's Witch Lab, which is like the more dark, mysterious type of things, and then there's a couple doors up from it. I don't know what it's called, but some guy owns it. He lives above it. It's a crystal and Native American type of stuff. It's really cute inside. It's a little more pricier.
So it sounds like it's more, because the Magic Druid, I was surprised, was very like religious, not like Christian or anything, but like all sorts of like pagan denominations and things, which I thought was weird. But it sounds like that place would be more spiritual than religious.
And Witch Lab is kind of, I don't want to say the opposite of, not to offend anybody, but like, have you been to Witch Lab before? So when you first walk in, it has books, teas, soaps, Ouija boards, stuff a lot of people have made, kits for rituals type of stuff. And then you can go towards the back that has like your tarot cards, your crystals, your candles for spell work, herbs. It's really nice. I go there a lot. But yeah, my fiance doesn't believe in a lot of this stuff either. And there's a certain acquaintance that I do not like. And I put this down probably like 4 hours before he came, walked in, said a couple things. He like immediately got sick and he's like, I have to go home. So I use this a lot, not to keep people out of my house, but it keeps the ill intent, negative things, and those type of things can attach to us humans.
Yes, because they snail trail wherever they go.
Exactly.
And they just fester and they attach and,
Because growing up, I lived next to the house that they found Robert the Doll, which is what
Robert
Chucky is based off.
Yeah, I love Robert the Doll. He's in Key West now.
Yes, he is. And then I have a couple herbs that I have. This one is from Blessed Bee. It is a mixture of like rose and like
rose. There's rosemary seeds in here. What else can I? Nope, that's the extent of my knowledge. I can see rose petals and rosemary seeds. Oh no, no, that's white sage right there. That's sage.
And then I forget what this guy is. I forget what he is. I can't think of his name right now. But I will usually like mix the two and burn them together because
that's either basil or bay leaf.
I think it's bay leaf.
And it might be mint. Or valerian, like catnip. Because it has a mint. Yeah, that actually might be valerian.
I don't use them a lot unless I'm doing something like this with people, because it almost like the mixture of the two themselves, even in a small amount like this, burning is a replacement of an incense. And it is also like not necessarily attracting, but it's bringing light to them so they know they're in a safer place, because you know there are investigators or ghost people that are interested in this type of stuff, and they go through investigating the wrong way.
Yes.
And they provoke a lot. And that's very like rude and like shouldn't, and that's an easy way to get yourself like bringing something home, and that is a fear of mine. So I also have oracle cards as well. They are mermaid themed. My old neighbor got them for me. So
Oh, these are large print. These ones are mine. There's like paint on them, so like that's the dust that you feel is spray paint. Because they were in my room and I spray paint in there.
see, you actually have tarot cards, and I know how to read tarot cards.
Me too.
But I use my oracle cards kind of as tarot cards until I actually like get myself a deck.
Do you want me to get you some? Is that what you want?
Please.
I would love to. Do you want to go like old school traditional like I did with the founding father of tarot cards, or did you want something like a little bit more fun and like?
We can do something more fun.
Okay, then I already know what I'm getting you.
Okay. I tend to do so when I do stuff for people, because I do like cleansings, readings, palm readings, a lot of other stuff for a lot of people, since I've known my fiance, and I've noticed I'll have better responses with something like this, because I feel like a lot of people have seen these, so I try to bring the light to a subject, but also like dumb it down. So I'll use like movie references or like scenes as examples for a lot of things, because either they're too stuck in their ways, they don't know how to grasp what I'm telling them, or they immediately get it. There's like no in between.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I like these is because they don't tell you your future. They don't predict things. They don't, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, they're just like, hey, you may be feeling like this right now, but look out for this.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the stars. So many people share a birthday, but none of them have the same fate.
Exactly.
Like, the stars could have been aligned for 800 people the exact same way, born at the same second, but none of them are going to be the same person, you know?
Exactly.
And so they're all different, and it really is like based on like your choices, but what the cards do is just like tell you, you know, be aware of this, or be open to this, or expect this, or, you know, this may or may not happen. Like, you can really interpret them however you want.
Yes. And then I brought these ones. You treat them almost like the cards, but you pick one, and it's the wording of the day for you. So it will give you like a word and like the meaning to it, and that's kind of how it predicts your day is either going to go or what you should
be open to, or
yes.
expect or anticipate.
Because
yeah.
there was there was one time my fiance did it, because I keep them on our shelves right by our bedroom door, and we'll do it every morning. And there was a couple times where it was like, you need to like take yourself back so other people can talk, because you're not a talkative person. Like, so they're really cute, but they're all flower based. It comes in like a little magnet box. That's beautiful. And they're all different like flowers, and just like the meanings to the flower as well. So it's really cute, and just something fun, and like something fun to do, you know.
Well, that's I do the tarot the kind of similar, where okay, so when I first met Keith, I was like, well, you live in a different state. I don't really know you. Like, yeah, we have like so much in common, and I don't know. I'm just nervous, you know, coming out of this and like getting into this. Like, it's very weird for me. Anyways, I pulled a card, and I said, whatever this card tells me, I'm going for. And it was I have to look it up. It's in our Facebook messages of what the card was. It was so beautiful, and it was something about letting go of the past and allowing yourself to rebuild a new foundation. And it was so beautiful.
That's really cute.
Yeah,
it was
don't be afraid to rebuild. And when you're anticipating something new, you have to start with the foundation. And even though you yourself feel that you have a strong foundation, you need to break that and rebuild it in order to build a new house. And it basically said, do not build a new house on an old foundation.
Oh.
And I loved it.
Yeah,
And
that's really cute.
I have to go back and look at it because I really want to print the picture or like paint it or something because that's like the start of our relationship. But no, we pull cards. Like he'll have like a question about work or something, and like I'll just pull a card for him, and like we'll just sit here and just like watch TV and like just pull a card about however we're feeling. Like most people would like open the Bible and then close their eyes and stop at a thing.
Yes,
like that.
So like in the lid, I didn't even realize it said this. My bad. It was like, select a card each morning when you are seeking help, confirmation, or inspiration, or to give you a little guidance. So that's kind of how you use these cards.
I love that.
But I do watch a few like explorers, ghost detector type people, investigators. Thank you. Anyway, I watch a few people on YouTube because I don't have. I've talked to people in the past for not necessarily guidance, but like, how should I correctly approach a situation, or
how can I be sensitive?
Yes.
How can I be sensitive but not vulnerable?
Yes.
I want to respect them, but also I need boundaries. Yes.
I don't know how common this is. From my understanding, it's not very common because I had played with a Ouija board when I was younger twice and had terrible experiences in the house that I was in. And then years passed, and then we moved here to Ohio.
From
and
where?
From Florida. From Florida to Ohio.
Florida?
Florida?
Florida.
What did I say?
You said Florida. It's Florida?
Florida.
Oh no, my New York accent. You're like Florida. Like
yeah. Okay, that's probably just the ghetto in me, but
Florida.
But
Florida oranges.
Florida oranges, Georgia peaches.
Coffee costs $0.25 on the corner.
No.
Coffee costs $0.25 on the corner.
Coffee costs $0.25 on the corner?
Yeah, coffee costs.
I never heard of that.
It's how you can tell if someone's from New York. Coffee costs $0.25 on the corner.
That's cute. Yeah. I like that.
My grandma would be like, how much for a medium pizza? Okay, how much for a large? Make it for that much. I can make it at home.
I feel like the only way I can do like a New Yorker's accent is kind of go like a little Italian with it. So, and the horrible part is
I'm Mexican Italian from New York.
Love that.
I know, but I don't have the temper. As you could tell, you're an empath. You could tell I do not have the temper. But like, when Keith gets mad, he goes, "Whoa, I'm doing something here." And he yells at them. He's like, hey. And he goes, whoa, I'm talking.
I'm talking here.
Oh.
But on the back side of my box, like I said, I don't think this is commonly used or there's a lot out there because of the house that we lived in, the second move in Ohio, since I moved from Florida. We moved from Florida to a family friend's house, stayed with them, and the same little area, we moved into a old farm home. And it was really old. It still had the coal chute in the basement, but outside it was cemented over. And then the driveway, our house, and then we had like a big yard on the side before it reached like the neighbor. And then this gentleman, I believe it was just him, I believe his wife passed, they had a well, and he was a very nasty, but I did talk to him one day and said he did tell me someone got hurt before he lived there, so they just went ahead and put wood over top of it. But living in this house, there was also secret rooms in my mom's room. We found, there wasn't anything too crazy and exciting. We found a glass and crystal chandelier, and there was a box TV. It still worked, but as weird as this is going to sound, it only got radio stations on it somehow. I don't know how. My little brother is really tech savvy. But she ended up turning it into storage, and then the closet was obviously a closet. There was a woman on the property that I felt, and we have photos of all the time. We called her Mrs. White because she showed herself in a white dress that was very lacy. There's pink accents to the dress, but if you wanted to see her face, she would let you see all of this, and then right before the décolleté, it would just disappear. Like, she would never let you see her face. And we would always ask and ask and ask. My first month in the house, we were turning the basement into my bedroom. We had a fireplace in the living room, and I slept on the couch for a minute. And I just had a reoccurring nightmare that this woman came out of soot and ash, scratched up my legs, and dragged me back into the soot and ash. Now, my mom is petrified of this type of stuff. She now, as adult mutuals, I guess you can say, she understands, like, how my dreams work and stuff like that. She never really wanted to talk about it. It freaks her out and stuff like that. And it started happening more and more and more. And there was a lot of family members that came around more and more and more at this time. So she's like, okay, I don't think my son's, like, full of it anymore, like, that type of deal. And so there was a man on the property as well. We called him Mr. J. It was my little brother's idea, because there was technically 3 rooms in the house. And then, like I said, we turned the basement into part of a bedroom. Mr. J stayed out in the yard, and there was 2 trees. In between, there was a dog running line, and then there was a fire pit. Now, we didn't have a dog at the time, so we didn't use it. But we did use the fire pit a lot. Mr. J always presented himself as a shadow figure, a silhouette. He was probably in his, like, mid to late 50s, 60s, early 60s.
Relatively young, old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Not
was
like senile or anything.
No,
yeah.
but he was very mean. So my mom dated a woman, and she had 4 kids, and they came to live with us. And her daughter was around my age. And so she was dating a guy at a time, and we were having a bonfire, and the subject was brought up about ghosts and stuff. And I started telling her about him, and I'm like, he's actually present right now. He's standing behind the tree. He always watched from afar. And there was one tree. If you looked at the fireplace in the living room, there was 2 windows. There was a tree in this window, and he'd always stand behind and watched. And I'd always have to tell my mother, like, we need to close the curtain now. You know, we have a peeping Tom. That was, like, the key word. And he did not like us talking about him. Doesn't matter if it was me, my mom, my aunt that lived up the street, does not matter. He would make your nose bleed. And me and my youngest brother already have nosebleed problems, I guess
You're
you can
prone
say.
to it?
Yeah, during, like, spring when the weather changes
Yeah.
and stuff like that, we will look like we got, like, attacked by a shark. Like, that's how much blood half of the time. That's how much, our nose bleed.
I have been getting nosebleeds. So random. And it is so much blood that, like, when Keith comes out of the room and he goes, what the hell happened? He thought my jugular was cut. I would be sitting here and I would feel one drip, and as soon as I would be like, oh, I have a bloody nose, then it's just like, oh my God, I cannot cup it.
That was me
That is
3 days ago at work.
Yeah, it's been happening so frequently. And, like, I laugh because I was like, you know, if I ever go missing and they do a luminol test, like, you are going to jail. Like, because it's all over the sink.
Blood.
There's a puddle on the floor.
Yes.
It started coagulating in the sink to the point where the sink was filling up, and it wouldn't go down anymore because it started to dry and get sticky, which is the coagulation. And so it actually clogged it. And I started filling it. So then I moved it to the toilet. And it looked like a botched abortion in the toilet bowl.
Yes,
oh
ma'am.
my God. And I wonder if it is something to do with paranormal or something. I went to the doctors. They said it was fine. My therapist said that it could be something with anxiety and my blood pressure changing really quickly.
Because I did
but
go
I don't get dizzy or anything. I'm literally just here. And then all of a sudden, I feel like a warm, and then just like a drip, and then just...
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Yes.
Because I did go to a doctor about it, and they didn't want to do, like, the whole soldering thing. But they're just like, we think it's just, like, the weather and, you know, situations. But anyway,
Sorry, I didn't mean it... I just thought that was really weird.
It is very weird, and it's weird to know that's the one thing he would get everyone's attention for.
I didn't know that they were, like,
able to do that.
Yeah.
It can be either built up energy that they had. Let's say you had an uncle that passed away and he was only in his 50s and he had like leg issues. It's built up energy that they can almost use in their when they cross over and stuff. Or they just have the ability, and it's so hard and weird.
The word energy because I'm more spiritualist than I am religious, and I believe energy. There are people. It's like I feel like people use energy without knowing that they use it. Like how you can tell that someone's staring at you without knowing that someone's staring at you.
Yes.
Okay, or how to like when you feel like you're not alone in a room, or you can put a blindfold on and somebody can walk in the room and they can tell you if it's a guy or girl because of the energy that they give off. And energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred, and people are energy. And so like I just think that it's what people call a spirit is people's residual energy and their consciousness. Yeah.
So for me, I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people, but I don't have other people to ask when I say that like that. They present themselves as the last thing they remember their body being in. So if that's their arm being cut off, they remember that. So that's how they're presented. With the gentleman that was on the property, he would make our nose bleed. And he came into the house a few times. I have photos of him on my Snapchat. And he always came around if it wasn't me talking about the spirits and stuff like that, because that will bring them towards you. The more you talk about it, the more they come around.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So if it wasn't about that or just him, he would show up in the time of like anxiety, upset.
Vulnerability.
Yes. So I declared him in my head as not a nice person. And I don't want to say... But that
doesn't necessarily mean that they're evil or they're demonic. No. Yeah, like there are good spirits, there are shy spirits, there are neutral spirits, there are mean spirits, then there are evil spirits, then there are demonic entities which have never lived in the human form. And so, like... That's the difference between, like, an asshole that cuts you off in traffic versus, like, a serial killer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, he's an asshole, and he's annoying, and he's being really mean to you, but that doesn't mean that you're haunted by a demonic spirit, though. So,
no, exactly.
Yeah.
But if you are a negative person in life, I'm not saying this for everybody, but if you are someone that is constantly negative, it can...
Because that's who you are.
You.
That's who you are. That's your consciousness. That is your energy.
So I kind of feel like that was his situation almost.
So he was probably an energy vampire in life.
Yes.
He just sucked the fun from the room.
Yes.
And then in death, now his spirit has that same feel, that same energy. When you walk in a room and you're like, I feel like somebody was just fighting, or I feel like somebody was just talking bad about me. Like I just like walked in and there's like a vibe that I'm not sitting with.
Yes, exactly. So, that's how he would, like, approach himself.
Because that's who he is. That's who he was in life. Like, that's
Yes.
what he was when he walked into a room. He made people uneasy, and yeah.
And he I don't want to say he just wanted himself to be known. I don't think he did it to make us be scared, to feed off that energy.
Yeah.
A couple months go by, my mom and this woman are no longer together.
Mm-hmm.
She starts dating a new woman.
Mm-hmm.
This woman knows that I'm interested in antiques.
Mm-hmm.
And they went thrifting and they brought me back an antique mirror. I still have said mirror. It was right around the time that the basement got done and became my bedroom. And you know me, I am a makeup artist.
Yeah.
So in the mirror, before I had my furniture in the basement, it was just the mirror, my makeup stuff, an art desk, that type of thing. I did my makeup in it, and I saw something run behind me, and I thought it was my little brother because it was the same size. And this mirror is, like, really big. And, couldn't find him. Outside on the basketball court that we had in the backyard, he was out there, so I was like, I don't know what I just saw. Chopped it up to be, something I saw. And then, we had a mouse problem. It is an old farm home.
Mm-hmm.
We got rid of said mice. My mom is petrified of mice and frogs. And
Sorry, the frog thing got me.
listen, at this time, I would be up until like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning on like YouTube or something, or dancing in my bedroom because I am a dancer. I grew up dancing. So she texted me one night and she was like, I hear mice in the walls. I was like, no, you don't. You don't. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, there's a little girl attached to this mirror that you got me. We call her A. And she's the sweetest she's probably about 5 or 6. And her favorite color is yellow. She has a blue, white, and a little bit of pink in her dress. And it's not anything lacy, old school. It's like a church dress.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like a flower girl dress.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
A Sunday dress.
She's a blonde. She has some wave to her hair. And I have the mirror in my house now with me and my fiance. And at the time of me living at home with this man in the yard, their energies just... One was more powerful than the other. She would not allow him to come in the house anymore after my mom gifted me the mirror. And she loved my littlest brother because there was a few times he would stay up late playing video games, and when he would start dozing off, he would tell me he'd feel like somebody was running his like fingers through his hair. And now he has like really long hair. And he's like, there's been a few times when I was still living at home when he had the long hair. He's like, it wasn't so much scalp anymore, but I felt like someone was playing with my curls and like wrapping it around their finger. I'm like, this little girl just loves you.
Yeah.
But like I said, we call her A, and she's kind of more protecting spirits. And I know a lot of people, when they hear about a kid spirit, they're kind of weary.
Yeah.
Because a lot of negative energies, demons,
disguise themselves.
present themselves as. I don't think she is. She's not very talkative. She loves to play, though. I had marbles in the basement, and we would throw the marbles back and forth. My middle brother had like a little ball, and they would push it. My mom was obviously petrified. But the night of her texting me about the mouse situation, I was like, physically out loud, say, A, can you please go to bed? And she did. She has a video of footsteps walking down the corridor and down the steps, and they were loud. So you knew her energy was very strong. Mm-hmm. And that's why you hear a lot of people saying like child or children spirits are like a beacon of light. They're the shining. That's where the term The Shining comes from, is because they are like a lighthouse for a lot of energies or spirits that are good, but that also attracts a lot that have strayed off the path of good, are not good, that type of deal.
Yeah. And I think it's the same way with people, because if you constantly are finding yourself surrounded by toxic, damaging, and broken people, it just means, it could mean that you're a healer, because the healers attract the broken.
Yes, exactly.
We should, I should break the seal, then we should meditate, and we should try to capture something.
Yeah. But, with that, with the man, before we move on.
Yes.
The one girlfriend, the daughter that was around my age, her and her boyfriend played with the Ouija board, and I walked in on it, and I saw him in the corner, and he was very upset.
Why are you going up? Was he up in the corner?
He was up in the corner, and he just...
I like how you just motioned to it like it was like a normal thing, that this man was just up in the corner. Like, yeah. He was just like in the corner. Like, no big deal. Not like he was in the corner of the room or behind them. No. He was just like in the corner.
I guess I'm more,
But you understand how people that like are watching this are gonna be like, okay, he was like in the corner. He was like, and you like motioned to like the top corner. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he was on your left when you walked in?
Yes. Because the bedroom at the time that she was in was more longer than wide.
Okay.
So he was in like the upper left corner, and I've never seen him do that. He was always ground level, eye to eye type of deal.
Very humanoid, yeah.
And so I was like, I don't know what broke in him, but I immediately walked in. What are you guys doing? Saw them. Lights were on. They weren't doing like a seance. They didn't have candles. The bedroom lights were on. They were doing it. They were saying nothing was happening. They've been sitting here for about 30, 40 minutes and not one thing moved. Which happens a lot with a lot of Ouija board.
I've only had one time where it actually worked, and that was terrifying, because I was using the SB7, I got nothing through it, but it sounds like somebody went up and like hissed.
Yeah. Yes.
I was listening in my headphones, and I have to turn it up really loud, and I listen to it like 3 seconds at a time. 3 seconds, 3 seconds, same 3 seconds. Just like, was that something? And then just keep listening to it. This scared the shit out of me. I'll let you listen to it later, but it was just like,
no. Oh,
I was sitting right here.
But he made my nose bleed, and they both knew, her and the boyfriend knew, because I warned them, air quotes around that, about him, told him.
More of advice then?
Yes. They immediately stopped, but they did it incorrectly.
They didn't circle 3 times and say goodbye?
Yes, they immediately took their fingers off of it, and it just got worse. And I started like...
Yeah, because that's your circle of salt.
Sucking it in.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not saying I was aspirating or anything, but I was now bleeding this way, but also swallowing.
Yeah.
And both moms were home, and they were coming upstairs to go to bed, and they saw me, and they're like, is it him? I was like, yep. And I didn't say they were playing with the Ouija board, but her mom knocked on the door and was like, it's done. We're done. And so I do not mess with Ouija boards. I want a planchette tattoo like behind my ear or something.
That's literally my aesthetic is planchettes. Yes.
Exactly. Like, I will definitely try. I'm down for trying to have my ways of going out and protecting myself and people that are around me. So I'm definitely down to actually like try. I've never actually put my fingers on a planchette or a Ouija board or something like that. I've only been in the room.
If you don't want to, I am totally cool not doing it.
No,
but the way I see it is, whether you're using a pendulum board or dowsing rods, smoke, boiling water, whatever you use to communicate, this is just a vessel. Like white noise, like anything that you use to communicate, those are the same as a Ouija board.
Right, exactly. And I guess
Ouija board was just more popular, and Even
Yeah.
meditating, opening yourself up to that communication, it's the same thing as using a Ouija board.
I guess I'm gonna call myself out first before they do or you do. I must be a narcissist then, because this is chalk. It's a chalkboard, and this is pretty much a pendulum, and you put the chalk inside, and you do the same thing. Because I have found I have gotten more answers from friends that have done this. Because, like I said, I've never put physical
never worked for
anything.
me.
But I have
worked
been
for me
in the
one
room
time.
and I have seen people like watching, like they're interested to see if it's gonna move. But I'm like, you guys are just watching. You aren't fucking with them. They want to see themselves, and that could just be religion, mom saying no when they were alive, that type of stuff. But I have noticed not a lot of things have happened in a Ouija board session, but in the chalkboard session, they like to draw a little more. I have
Then
made
what's
this.
the difference between that and writing yes, no, and an alphabet underneath?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
why I'm saying I must be.
Yeah,
I
because
call myself a
think
narcissist.
I don't care
and
how
stuff
you
like
communicate, but but just like anything else, with that you have to say goodbay. You have to let them know that the session's over. Do not
Yes.
try to contact me, and then to close it.
I actually saw this method, and like I said earlier in the conversation, I don't know how well known this is, how many are out there. I saw this method through his name's Elton on YouTube, and he is a paranormal investigator, and there's a group of them.
I'll find him and I'll link his site here.
Yes. He went to some hotel and he brought a medium /
When you
witch.
went to the Stanley Hotel, I almost cried. I hated you for like a whole week. I hated you so much. I was like, I hope they get haunted and murdered in their room in their sleep. Like, that is no fair. And he's like, do you really want them to die? I was like, yes, that's ultimate goal. I want to go and get killed by a ghost there.
I was so happy.
I was so mad. And you were like, oh, we're going here. And I was like, oh, you bitch. I was so mad.
Well, like I said, like I told you before, my fiance is not interested in this in any way. He's not interested in any horror movies, let alone. He jokes about, like, oh, I'm going to put this horror movie on because he knows it will grab my attention. And watching, even though it's a movie and it may not be based on a true story, just the experience alone, I may have had similar experiences with paranormal stuff. So it will immediately trigger me, open my door, that type of thing.
Same thing with when you're watching a movie and it makes you sad. Even though you turned off the movie, it still has, like, affected your emotions and you're still sad afterwards.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So he's like, I'm going to put on, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like the new one that just came out.
It wasn't
I'm like,
very good.
I heard that, and I've watched Trixie and Katya, react to it. I'm sorry, if you're going to
What's the one movie that you can't watch that scares the shit out of you? I have mine in my mind. Go on.
Ooh.
I'll try to send it to you, but, like, see if you can pick up on it. There's one movie that, like, scared the hell out of me, and it still does. It's a ghost movie.
Is it?
Yeah, early 2000s.
Ooh.
It's unique. I can give you, like, a huge hint if you want.
Yeah, tell me.
Matthew Lillard's in it.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
That's Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Oh!
13 Ghosts. I can't watch it. I can't. The naked princess in the bathtub who slit her wrist. And then that girl doesn't see her and she's just, like, leaning over the bathtub.
I haven't seen that in forever.
Oh my god, the bathtub scene where the girl is, like, literally, like, naked, dead with a knife and, like, all bloody, and then the girl doesn't see her because she's, like, doesn't see her.
Yeah.
And then she's, like, running her hand under the water, smiling, and I'm just like, bitch. Like, you have no idea. Like, sometimes I'll think about that and I'll be scared to take a shower.
You're right.
I'm 31. Like, this should still affect me.
You said it was early 2000s?
Yeah, 13 Ghosts.
I probably didn't see that because I'm 24, 1997.
91.
So I don't think I think I saw it when I was like 12, 13. So, like I said, I'm 24. It's been a hot minute. I forgot he was in that.
It was really... And then that dude from Monk was in it.
Yes!
And then the girl from, like, the foreign exchange student from American Pie is the main daughter.
Mm-hmm. This isn't so much Ghost. Like, Ghost Adventures, I remember, like, my uncle...
I'm obsessed. I've seen every episode millions of times. I know, it's really bad. It's not a good show.
I feel that.
I know. It's not a good show.
My uncle would fall asleep to it, and I thought he was, like, a psychopath for the longest time. Because he would just... out. I'm like, I don't know if it bored him or what, but I'm like... you know, like, scared crapless as a kid.
When I'm just, like, randomly walking around the house, like, you know, just whatever, just on my tablet, just, you know, he's making his music, he'll come out of, like, Keith will come out of his room, and I'll have, like, my tablet, and he goes, and then that's when he dismembered her limbs, and raped her face, and put her in a meat grinder, and I pause it, and I go, what's up, babe?
No.
And I just casually, I watch it for hours on end. You know what I've been obsessed with lately, and, like, I feel bad for admitting this, I've never told anybody. 911 calls with backstories.
I love that type of stuff because
it's so much different than watching the court case or reading the
yes.
newspaper. It's so much more, like, intimate, and, like, to hear their voice, and, like, they're like, oh, this man murdered his wife, and I was like, I want to hear what he said on a 911 call.
I was contemplating on going to school to be, like, a therapist because I love...
the psychological,
yes,
like the
I
inner
love to
workings.
think why your brain thought it was okay. And I love to, like, break that crap down. Not everybody's brain's like that. So you're more like, okay, got you. Like that, you know what I'm trying to say? But I guess I'm kind
to,
of...
like, be caught off guard by something, because I am so non-judgmental, and I understand anything, and... you know, or I try to. I try to be super understanding and empathetic and connect, and that's just who I am. I'm a mediator. Like, I just try to, like, connect it naturally. That's just how I am. You know, like, someone's mad at me, and I'm like, I understand where you're coming from. Like, I'd be mad at me too, honestly.
Yes,
like, you know what I mean? Like, I empathize with the people who have abused me, and I empathize with them.
Yes.
Yes. So, to see these women, like... oh!
It's also different because I'm sure not everybody that watches you or listens to you agrees, but we also have to think, depending on the court case or the hearing or whatever you want to call it, it may come from a different country where laws and rules are different from the United States. Mm-hmm. So...
well, I mean, there's like...
because I've seen a few
hundreds of
that...
thousands of views on these. And people watch them for entertainment. I watch them because, people watch them for fun.
Yes!
I don't do it for fun. I literally do it for the same reason that people want to learn about, like, when you want to go to psychology, you want to learn about the fucked up inner workings of someone's mind, like, of crazy people. Crazy people. There's no such thing. Like, you know.
Thank you. Because I had this discussion with my fiance when we went to Colorado, because he took me to, I forget the name of the mountain, but it's like the highest mountain in Colorado, you know. And there's no side rails, and it became like from 2 lanes to a dirt road. And if you went around the hairpin turns, one of you had to back up so the one could pass. It scared me to the point where I'm like, I'm not afraid of death and dying. I'm afraid of being in pain that I can't control.
Yeah, I'm afraid of being disfigured. Like, just kill me. Please, I don't want to miss a limb. Please don't mess up my face. I'm so scared. Like, I'm sorry if that makes me shallow. Please don't disfigure me.
No,
like, just kill me.
Listen, my puppy scratched me in the face because my fiance was trying to, like, hand him to me, and he scratched, like, literally down my eye.
Like, you should have just ripped out my jugular. If this is gonna scar,
exactly.
just murder me.
I'm like, if it's gonna scar, I know I'm a makeup artist and, like, makeup will cover it up and stuff.
But, like, every day,
I'm like,
you're, like, really affecting my life. Yeah.
I also what grade was I in? I believe I was in 4th grade. And do you remember when a lot of kids would do, like, the backflips off the swings? At my school at the time, we didn't have, like, the shredded up tire.
Oh, the rubber, yeah.
Yeah. We had wood chippings.
Oh!
And I face planted, and come to find out a couple weeks later, I had like a big bruise, bloodied myself in this eye. I believe it was this. Yeah, it was this eye. And Mom took us to Walmart for family photos. Had the big scar, but the big bruise, I should say. But I went to the eye doctor, and they're like, "You can see, right?" And we were really confused for the longest time. Come to find out, a piece of wood scratched the color part of my eye, and it's only so
Your
far
iris.
away from the what's the black part of your
Pupil.
eye? The pupil,
Which is actually an empty hole.
right? But it's so far away from that. They're like, you have this scar on your eye now, and I was like, oh, it's when I did a backflip off the swing. But
You scratched your cornea?
Yeah. But going with what you were saying, a little backstory. So my stepdad, my two brothers that live with my mom, their father was my stepdad. Before my mom had, I'm trying to think, no, she had my middle brother. We didn't have the youngest one. She didn't have the youngest one yet, which is Jake. But the house that we lived in at the time, Elena!
That's the squeak I was talking about. Did you hear it?
I don't like that.
Yeah, I hear it randomly. And I didn't know what it was. I thought like maybe like the batteries in the smoke one were dying or something stupid. And then
I probably would have thought the same thing.
and then Keith was sleeping, and I went in there to wake him up, and he said, like, I don't have to work for another 3 hours, they changed my shift, and I said, okay. Then I was like, all right, well, I'm in my office talking, and I turn on music out here, so I better close the door. And when I went to go close the door, I heard the squeak, and I was like, that's the fucking noise. Because we never closed the bedroom door for anything. Like,
yeah.
Testing, microphone. Oh yeah, I did see that, and that was really pretty. Testing. Did